He's trying to. That's what's going on. He's filming this podcast on the back of a horse. I think right now in West Texas. There's not much
still in West Texas.
there.
What's happening right now?
Can you imagine?
Yeah, the Wi-Fi. The
like
Wi-Fi
a
is
Starlink
actually
on the back of his horse. So welcome, team. Welcome to the FCA Williamson County Podcast, I should say. This is our July podcast.
Yeah.
Gosh, man, we're just racing through this year. We've got a familiar face in the most awesome, the bestest, the supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Andrew Slack, the FCA Director for Williamson County.
Sorry
How
for
are you,
everybody.
buddy?
Yeah.
Hello. It's good to see you guys again. It's good to be back on.
It is. Gosh, even though it's July, we're back again. We're still here by God's grace, so that's awesome. But we have two very special guests today. I was thinking about this, Slack. I was thinking that all I have to do is ask Michael Carson one question, and I can sit back for the next half an hour, have a drink, maybe get a snack, and he'll still be going by the time I finish.
What are you saying, Drew?
So, Mr. Michael Carson, welcome to the podcast, brother.
So great to be on this podcast. Great to be in the presence of actually three of the greats in the Williamson County FCA, Mr. Drew and Mr. Slack, and one of my really, really good and growing friends, David, that he'll get introduced in a minute. But great to be on here.
Absolutely. And we have a youngster here.
Yeah.
They always make me feel so old, which is just normal for me these days. But David, welcome to the podcast. You are very welcome here, my friend. And as an intern,
my guy,
you have some competition from before from Josh and Gavin. I'm sure you can do a better job than them. Especially from Gavin, because he's just too much of a handful. Josh is awesome, but Gavin, what can we do? What can we do?
Yeah,
welcome,
welcome,
buddy.
Thank you. Kind of nervous here.
So, how are you all coping with schools being out?
Fantastic, I would say. I'm still on the fantastic train. It's been good.
You had a vacation, right, recently?
I'm about to be. Haven't yet. About to be. Yeah.
You're going back to your roots and fishing, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Heading north where it's cold.
We'll be in the Pacific Northwest.
Cold.
Yeah.
Deadliest catch.
Is it cold up there? I can't believe that.
So I will be in Petersburg, Alaska at the end of this week. It'll be 40s, 50s, potentially.
Oh.
Yeah.
That sounds good, man.
It'll be kind of cold for sure.
Yeah,
it'll be good. I'm excited. I got the fishing report. They are catching halibut, and they're just starting to catch Chinook and salmon.
Oh, let's go.
So we'll hopefully be
fish fry, baby. Come on.
We'll have a fish fry on the next podcast. How about that?
Yes, Drew's house. Straight up.
We'll
fish
film
fry.
at Drew's house.
We can talk on the microphone while eating halibut.
Listen, fellas, as I said before, I don't know if we recorded that last time, but I have a thing about fish, right? I'm not a fish fan. I really struggle eating fish, and if it has the head on it, forget it. I am kicking you out of my house. So you're welcome to bring your fish round, Slack. So if they've got a head on and a tail on,
so we'll send out your address. We'll send out your address later to all the students, and they'll drop off fish in your mailbox. How about that?
That's it.
I cannot be doing with that. Just no.
Don't be announcing those things.
So I'm glad you love it. I've fished once in my life, and that put me off forever. It was one of the most traumatic experiences of my young, 8-year-old life at that point.
You might need to stop and dive into that. So
yeah.
Well, just say that the traumatic event was the putting the maggot on the hook and the maggot exploding in my face.
Oh, okay. Well,
that was enough to put me off fishing for life.
Yeah.
God used that fear and called you a fisherman and said, "Follow me now." So that's fun.
Well, if Jesus said that, I'd be like, as long as there's no fishing involved, bro, I'm good. I'm following you.
I'll fish for people all day.
Don't expect me to fish for fish.
Yeah, fishing for fish? No.
No, not following you. Fish for people? Fine. Not a problem.
That's good.
So good. I'm glad you're going to have a break. That would be awesome.
Yep.
How about you, Michael? How's your summer going so far?
Man, it's a wild ride. Many of the people on the call might not know history and background, but just briefly got a blended family, and so getting kids and sorting out who's going where and when and times and vacations, and so I've gotten to go on a little short vacation to go to SeaWorld, which was really cool. Actually, Aquatica, and I still have enough youngster in me that I can ride some of the slides and stuff with the kiddos, so that was fun. Preparing our My Ministry game plans. That's kind of our planning season right now, and so that's been a part of it. But yeah, getting some rest, spending some time with family. I got a pool put up in my backyard recently, and so planning on having some kids over and some fun and some barbecue and a fish fry whenever Andrew gets back. So we're gonna do it up. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Pressure's on.
Good summer so far.
Yeah. Wow, good stuff. And David, how about you? You've finished high school now, or are you still in school? What's going on with you?
Yeah, so I graduated 2020, and right now I'm with me, Gavin, and Preston are going through Grace School of Theology. So right now going through homiletics with Gavin, and it's been very nice. I love it. I love just being able to learn the tools and the skills in order to present the word more clearly and accurately for those that need to be fed and the living water. So it's been really nice. Also serve with youth as well. So I've been these last few weeks been helping out with the church, just spending time with high school students and some middle school students. But now today they actually left for camp, so that's going to be I'm in break now, kind of. But yeah, I miss it a whole lot. So I'm really looking forward to, going back into the schools. But right now, just like Michael said, just like planning, this upcoming school semester, me and Emily, we've been talking a whole lot about like directions and tasks, things that we want to achieve. So it's been a lot of just sitting down and praying on what the Lord wants us to do. So it's been pretty chill.
Good. That's awesome.
Yeah. Quick clarification on that was all of our interns serve in the local church. And he was saying the youth, he's serving at Awaken Church, shout out in Round Rock. And then they're also, of course, serving with FCA. So just a little clarifier there. So,
correct. Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Well, so as you are, now here, let's dive in a little bit with you, Mr. Carson. I'd like to know a little bit more about your background, if we can. Where'd you come from? Are you native Texan, or are you like the rest of us here? Someone who's chosen to come to this wonderful free state.
Yeah. No,
what's your background like? Where did you go to school? What's
history and background. I have a mom and dad. That's where I came from. So that was fun.
Good.
I don't remember much of that, but
that's amazing. Good for them.
Yeah, it's really cool. So no, I grew up in Bovina, Texas, actually, a little small town. Let's see, just inside the Clovis, New Mexico border, and about 40 miles within the New Mexico border there, up in the Panhandle of Texas. Very, very flat. No trees. I like to say a lot of times you can watch your dog run away for 3 days. And that's the kind of land I grew up on, man. So farming and ranching, had some about 400 head of Charlie bred cows and 30 head of horses and 3 combines and 2 tractors. And so grew up.
Wow.
Yeah, man, just getting it on the old farm and ranch. I like to say
so you were like a proper cowboy.
Yeah, like a real one, man. Like I actually rode horses and
You're like a real proper cowboy.
100%, all day, every day. Yep. I used to have a saying, man. If it's got hair on it, I can ride it.
Can you lasso? Can you?
Oh yeah, I can rope. I rode bulls and rough stock.
You do all that stuff too.
Used to. Yeah. How's my connection, guys? Is it bad?
Michael's connection.
All right, I'm going to take a time out.
Time out.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Time in. We're back, Michael Carson.
Woohoo!
Okay. Back in it. Yes.
So how did you get to North Austin?
Yes, North Austin. While in West Texas, I joined the United States Army. Spent a total of 19 years, 5 months, 22 days in the U.S. Army. Got medically retired. And a couple of tours overseas. Went down a pretty dark path when I got back from combat, and got out there, got to doing a big old piece of stupid for a little bit when I were trying to handle things on my own, because I'm a cowboy, I can handle anything, and a lot of pride and a lot of things of that nature.
Real man.
Yeah, real man don't cry, and cowboys don't cry, and so you can just take care of it yourself. Pull yourself up by your bootstrap, boy. Be a man. And so I tried doing that through
exactly
multiple different routes, all of which helped for a moment, but didn't fulfill or satisfy. And so ended up in a really dark place, and a man named Jesus Christ found me in the midst of all of that, and I began to transform my life, which was really amazing. Got to Houston, Texas, went to an inpatient facility, spent some time there, about 10 months, and then worked my way back around into the Austin area. My children, I went through a divorce, and I got currently remarried, but I wanted to be back in my children's life and be the biblical father that I wasn't. And man, God gave me that opportunity. And so, I found myself up here in the great state of Texas still, but in the central part, being in Austin. Not a city boy at all. I still don't necessarily like the city much, but when God calls you.
Some trees here though, Michael.
Yeah, there are trees here. They're not very tall, but there are trees here. They ain't like my buddy Slacks in Oregon, them big old huge trees he's got out there. But there are some trees here, and there's a target-rich environment, if you will, from my military experience of the need for Jesus in this area. So
you didn't grow up in a Christian household then?
Actually, I did. That's a great question. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'll answer that question in a gentle way as I can. I grew up in a home that went to church sometimes, and so I was actually baptized at the age of 14, believing I was a Christian just simply by saying the sinner's prayer, getting baptized, and then going to church, and I thought that it was a message to go to heaven someday, more than it was about a transformation of life, like living a different lifestyle. And so I would have called myself a Christian, and yes, I believe that I grew up in a Christian home. I believe they were still teaching biblical principles, but my understanding of it was not what a true follower of Jesus is. So yes, I grew up in a Christian home, but at the same time, like, we did not live the way that necessarily the Bible says to live, but we would go to church on Sunday. And so I don't want to, dishonor my family in any way. I believe they tried to do the best they could with the information they had at the time. So, yeah.
Yeah, sure. And I think that's pretty typical, to be honest. I think that's probably the majority of Christian households.
Yeah, I actually run into that a lot.
Raised on Christian values, the idea of Christianity, but maybe the fruit isn't as fruity as it could be.
Yeah, that's a good way to put that.
I mean, it's maybe a little bit stunted on the vine.
Sure.
It doesn't grow to its full ripeness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, and the difference between, a relationship versus just, religiosity or some kind of formula, show up to church on Sunday and then you're good to go type deal. So, that's growing up in that kind of household. we believe we could party on Saturday and party hard on Saturday because we was going to church on Sunday and we can repent. So.
Wow. And going through all that you went through, you know, I've worked with vets before, but in England with British soldiers.
And, real soldiers.
You know, it's a hard road, right? And you know all about that. Finding Jesus, or Jesus finding you, and all of that, how did that change things for you?
It's a great question, Drew. The biggest thing for me is I really did try everything that the world had to offer. When it came to healing from things, from combat trauma, from, you know, those kind of things. And so for me, there was a relational aspect that happened where I had a true encounter with a living God. There was no other peace. I mean, I experienced peace at such a level that I had never experienced before, that I couldn't manufacture. I couldn't come up with on my own. And when it entered into my room, into my space, into me, I knew that it was real. Like there was, you know, it wasn't just some thing that my parents lived by or something that we did on Sunday. This became something that was a very living, breathing, right now in the moment encounter with God. And so when that happened, I knew that it was real. And so whenever I was like, oh, you're actually real. This isn't just some theory that could be. Now I have to do something with this. You know, and so when that happened, now I started to begin to study the Word, because I did, you know, being that I did have some seeds planted from growing up in that Christian home, that, you know, I knew that answers could be found in the Bible. Not that I'd ever read the Bible, but I knew that was a space where I could find, you know, answers, or a church. And in that time that I was in, I did not want to go into a church. I didn't really think that I'd be welcome in a church, actually. And so, you know, the cliche, oh, it's going to burn to the ground and, you know, catch fire if I go in there. And so really, I was fearful that they would judge me based on how I looked and the things that were going on in my life. So, yeah, so grabbed a hold of a Bible. Man, I started just saturating myself in God's Word. And it's amazing how when you open up the Word of God, how He just walks off of the page right into your life. These things like stories of prodigal son, and, you know, I loved you even though that yet you were still a sinner. And I mean, it's just verse after verse. And man, that began to really just transform me from the inside out, knowing that there was nothing that I could do to prove or earn my love, which is kind of how I grew up. I just simply had to be. And that He just loved me because He loved me, not because of what I did or didn't do. Not to say that He didn't necessarily dislike the things that I was doing, but that wasn't based on His love for me. And so, man, when that started to change me and I started to understand it, I just wanted more. I was so hungry. And through that process, that's what actually started to transform my life. From there, man, just continuing to get around some brothers and sisters in arms who'd been through, you know, some of the same things, who'd found a way out using Christ-centered solutions, began to help, you know, veterans and first responders. And then, man, the next thing you know, God called me into, you know, full-time ministry. Just being, I understood, I'd say the first thing that stood out to me the most, like the thing that really kind of was like solidified it for me of like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, is Ephesians 6. When, you know, when he's talking about Ephesians, we're talking about spiritual warfare. And to me, I was like, warfare. I understand warfare. Okay, that I can get behind, right? The thee, thous, and those, and the lineage, and all of the different so begot so. You know, I got to like, I'm gonna read the whole Bible. That was the first thing I was gonna do. I got through Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and I was just like, by then I was like, I'm not gonna read this whole. I don't even know what this means. You know, it's having such a hard time understanding it. But when I got to Ephesians, I just opened it up, man, and all of a sudden it changed. I was like, oh, there's like warfare that's happening. I understand that. So if there's God's armor, that must mean that there's an enemy. And then I started to understand the enemy being Satan, and that there's, you know, sin nature and all these things that we don't fight against flesh and blood. And I was like, okay, well, man, if I've got armor, that makes sense to me. And then I was like, the one thing that I had learned in the military is like, we check our defensive weapon systems, or like our defenses, which is our body armor, our Kevlar, all the things that are listed in the armor of God. The helmet of salvation, the sword of the spirit. The helmet of salvation, the breastplate of righteousness, and the shield of faith. Right, the belt of truth. Those things are all like kind of an offensive type weapon, whereas the word of God would be the offensive weapon. The other ones are defensive. Excuse me. And the word of God was offensive, and I figured out really quick that I didn't know the word well, and so. If I don't know the word of God, I'm not an effective fighter for the kingdom. And so I wanted to be just as much a spiritual warrior for God's kingdom as I was as a United States Army soldier in the Army. And I was a really good soldier. I had, got a ton of awards and all those things. And I'm very, very, grateful and proud of my military experience. But man, compared to this, I was like, I've got to do this. And so I started studying God's word. Went to school, went to seminary school, went to Bible college, seminary school, all the got saturated in the word. There's a little bit of a danger in this. I want to just speak to this for a minute. Is I was doing really good in school, getting A's, which is crazy because I had like dyslexia in high school. Like God did a whole healing deal on my mind and my heart and just transformed my life. But so I'm doing really good in school. And then I had stopped, though, I'd stopped kind of doing my spiritual disciplines that David was talking about earlier. And I was writing a paper, and I wrote this amazing paper, man. It was the best paper that I had ever written. I was like, this is amazing. The scholarly sources were, like, top-notch, man. I was like, we were using Turabian writing style. And so I was like, I had it all listed out. Talking about Drew, he's over here like, yeah, I know exactly where you're at right now. And so I'm like, yes, this paper is awesome. And I turn it in. And I get the grade back, and it's a C. And I was like, what? What is happening? Right? And I was like, I'm mad. I'm stomping back and forth. My wife's like, what's going on? I'm like, there's some knucklehead at this school that probably got an intern that doesn't know what they're doing. This is what I'm thinking, right? And I'm like, oh, man. And so I'm like, man, what's going on? What's going on? And so I finally pause, and I get to where I should have been, and that was on my knees, right? And I was praying. I was like, God, what are you trying to show me in this? And he was just real gentle and soft and kind, was like, Michael, you're spending so much time learning about me that you forgot to spend time with me. And I was like, oh my gosh, man, like weeping tears. I was like, oh my goodness, I missed it. I was learning so much about him that I wasn't spending time in prayer. I wasn't spending time with him. And he just revealed that to me really quick. Like, oh, you can write a great paper, but without me, it ain't gonna be no A. I rewrote the paper with him, and it was a lot better. I'll just put it that way. But anyway, it was all of those things, And so, and I'll speed up here real quick because I do get long-winded. So, but yeah, ended up getting called.
Already had a snack.
Already had a snack. Yep, we're doing good. All right. Yep, everybody take a little bathroom break. We'll be back. No, just kidding.
Everyone was warned.
This is true. This is so true. So anyhow, but got called into working for the youth ministry at one of the churches here in Round Rock. Shout out to one of our churches, City View Bible Church. Was there and actually went on staff there for a year. Was their men's ministry coordinator. Got to serve some great and cool places. They helped me with like all the veterans ministry. Went to Corps, gotten back to my kids' life again. Both of my girls. Actually baptized them, both of them, in that church. They have a working relationship with Jesus right now. Some stronger than others in the moment, but they're still working towards it. And got married to my current wife. Amazing biblical Proverbs 31 woman, biblical woman. Has 3 boys. I got 3 stepsons now, and just, man, God has really blessed us in so many different ways. Got called out of working on full-time staff, and got called out. I was working for the Freedom Fighter Foundation for a little while. Helped them co-found that for like 3 years. I helped veterans and first responders struggle with PTSD and depression, all the different things that go in with combat and post-combat. And so, but God called me out, and it was really specific too, because I was like, well, I guess I'm going to get a different job. I don't know. He's kind of calling me out of all this. And so I Googled FCA, because that's what I heard him say. And so I was like, well, I don't know what FCA is. I didn't come up through FCA. I didn't really know. I mean, I heard of it, but I had no clue really what it was. And so I Googled FCA, and what popped up was actually it was a finance, like kind of, and I was like, God, you're calling me into finance? Like, what? I don't know what this is. But, luckily God factors in my stupidity when he called me. So praise the Lord for that. He had me scroll down a little further, and there was a job listing that had just posted in Round Rock, which is where kind of my sphere of influence was. And it was Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And so really cool story on how that all happened. I ended up getting hold of one of our old guys, former actually director for Williamson County. And his name was Greg Knight. And I'd known Greg through some veteran stuff I did, spoke at a couple of events for him. And, man, I was calling him, and he's like, dude, are you going to FCA? And I was like, I don't know, And he was like, well, if you're going to go, man, I'm going to tell you, like, you're going to do great. And so I actually called Jeffrey Rodan, too. I'd met him before. I was like, Jeffrey, tell me about FCA. And he was like, oh, we want to, we're here to help every coach and athlete grow in a relationship with Jesus. I was like, don't give me your mission statement, bro. Don't give me your mission statement. What do you do? What do you really do? Boots on ground, point, tip of the spear. What do you do? He's like, Michael, best word. I was like, one word. And he said, discipleship. And I was like, well, you're speaking my heart. That's what I love, disciple making. And so Greg had me call Andrew Slack. I had met Andrew actually, 5 years before that, I think, Andrew, is that right? Yeah. About 5 years prior. I was in a Rudy's 5 years prior, helping giving some stuff to some vets, like doing a Bible study, I think. And Andrew was doing a Bible study with a group of first responders. He was leading a Bible study for there. And I just walked up to him and was like, hey, guys, and kind of shared a little bit. And so Andrew and I had actually already met prior to that. So when I called him, I don't remember meeting him. but God's cool like that. He kind of brings things back around, full circle. And so he was like, I remember you. And I was like, oh, pre-following Jesus? Or
you don't forget a Michael Carson.
Yeah, you don't forget a Michael. Either like BC pre-Michael, like pre-Jesus Michael, or post-Jesus Michael was kind of the ones that I just wanted to make sure that that's the one that he was meeting. He was like, no, definitely post-Jesus. And so, got some interviews, began our venture, got to, meet you, Drew, and it's been a really cool year. I've been here with FCA now, and man, we are running and gunning, and God is moving, and we're seeing transformation in students' lives, and it's truly awesome just to be working with God on the mission that He's called us to. So that's a little bit of my history.
2,000 years later.
I'll be quiet now for a little bit.
It's a great story, though.
Ooh, good stuff, man. It's always fun to hear you talk, because on one hand, yes, I'm now exhausted, but on the other hand, you remind me of Cassie. You two, I don't think I could hang out with you both for more than maybe half an hour, because your energy and your love for Christ and your love for the mission is so good, man. I think I'm way more chill than that, and I think Slack's pretty chill too. So when you or Cassie come in the room, it's always just so good to hear.
It's like lightning. It's like
it really is, man.
You just can't hold on to it, though.
I love it because I'm the kind of person that I see myself as maybe like the toy maker, right? I'm going to wind that clock at the thing at the back of your back and wind up that little clockwork and then send you out. And I'm going to, woohoo, see you, Michael. That's kind of my job, is to wind you up and just let you go, because people like you and Cassie it always amazes me because of your energy for all of this. Completely different to mine. So I love the way that Slack has brought in people of this talent that you have. Ro is a little bit more chilled as well, but he's really he's got such a heart for God too. Oh, man. So I love all of these people you bring in Slack, because you've got such a wide variety of awesome people. And yes, I do need a nap now after listening to you, Michael. But I'm so thankful for you, brother. I really am.
I'm thankful for you too, Brother Drew. Man, it's really an honor. So
who's this other guy we got on here?
We forgot about that one.
He might have got offended when Michael said something about an intern on his seminary story. We definitely don't think of you that way, David. Don't worry.
No.
That silly intern.
We leave the best till last, as always, on this podcast. But yeah, I'm super happy to know you, Michael. I'm glad you got through what you got through, and I'm glad that it was Jesus you found and not something else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, come on.
Because, the transformation, your transformation better than any of us, and I'm sure it's pretty much night and day to where you were to where you are now. And the influence you can have on these young people is just astronomical. It's so good.
Yeah. Thank you, Drew.
So this wasn't said, but let me just clarify this too for the listeners. So Michael is currently serving the area of Round Rock, Taylor, Hutto areas. And so at the end of this fiscal year in August, Michael will be moving up to more of a director position. And then really, hopefully, it's our prayers that we're going to God will help us identify more workers in that area to start serving underneath Michael and continue to really layer out missionaries across Williamson County. And so, so really excited for the next what the next year will bring, what it'll bring for a lot of reasons, but organizationally, that's where Michael sits.
Amen. Thank you for clarifying.
I have no doubt that you'll accomplish all of those things, Slack. You've done so much in the short time that I've known you in this position, and it's just crazy how you've just transformed this whole area with everything that you do and the people you choose to do the work. It's amazing.
Well, praise God, because I don't know what I was doing when I started.
But I think that's probably a strength, right? Because you attacked this completely new.
Oh, there's Michael just got
he exhausted himself. He couldn't take it anymore. You can't even listen to
Michael
himself.
left pulling.
But anyway, let's leave the superlatives alone for a while, and let's go to Mr. David Campos. How are you? And are you ready to spill the beans and tell us about your young life, where you're from, what you're doing here, and what your hopes and dreams are for the future?
Sounds good. Yeah. Like start from the start?
Yeah. Where'd you come from?
Yeah.
Are you a Texan?
Yeah, well, yeah, so I born and raised Austinite. But yeah, I mean, like in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
And then Texas.
It was formless and empty and not playing. Born and raised, family were, they had just first American in my parents. They came in from El Salvador, so life at first was really rough, just because they were young. I think they were barely in their 20s, 20 and 18, something like that. They were really really young when they came to the States for the first time, so life was rough. Remember growing up in Austin and just spending time with my mom, and then parents separated at a very young age, and I didn't really understand anything at all what was happening. I was just a child. My mom took me to El Salvador with her, so I lived part of my life in El Salvador. I was going back and forth, but I did not grow up in the church. I never went to church at all growing up. The only reason I knew of a person named, called Jesus was because my great-grandma and my grandpa would always talk about him, and that was it. That was all I knew. It was just, there's someone named Jesus, and they talk about him a lot. And yeah, so, man, high school, my father was an alcoholic, also construction worker, so he would leave before I would wake up and come back home by the time it was from, nearing bedtime for me. So as an alcoholic, the little amount of time that I had with him at home was just wasn't the best. So in high school, I just felt empty, looking for a purpose, and started doing a lot of things that I shouldn't have done. Just a lot of things, and trying to do things to myself as well to remove myself out of the, whole existence. But anyways, after high school, I went straight into working construction with my father, And there was this day where he was not having the best day, and I didn't do anything. I was just asking to get, my paycheck because I had worked the whole entire week. And he got mad and called the cops on me, kicked me out of the house. So months after, I was able to find, live with my aunt for some months, and then I had to move out. So I got my own apartment. And I think I was like 6 months or maybe 5 months into my lease. And I had a job, and one of my coworkers was an uncle of mine. And my uncle got mad because I had requested a day off to go get my passport. So I ended up losing my job because he didn't want me to have a day off. And anyways, I was supposed to go see my mom the following month. It was like the middle of the month. So rent was about to be due. And man, I just did the same thing I would always do when I was stressed out and worried. I just went to the back porch of my apartment and I got high. I went, man, I always feel like people don't, whether they believe me or not, I don't really care, but it just sounds insane. But this is what happened. Right after smoking, I went into the shower, and I would always ask God this question, Matt. I would always be angry at God, and I would always ask this question. But this time, I genuinely wanted an answer from him. And as I turned on the water and the steam was coming off, I asked God, I was like, Lord, why have you forsaken me? And at that very moment, I felt a pillar of fire just come down and consume me. And it was like, it was coming down, and I just felt the high just go away. And at that very moment that I felt that pillar of fire come down on me, I heard a voice tell me, I have not forsaken you. I love you. And I knew that was Jesus. Like I didn't go to church at all. I wasn't taught about Jesus or of God at all by my parents. But I knew that this voice that I heard, that was Jesus, and I felt someone holding me. And from that day, I knew that God was real and that Jesus is real, and that He is God. And man, I ended up getting a job that month. I ended up with more than enough money to pay for rent. I went to my mom in El Salvador, and I went to church for the first time. And at the end of service, they made a call to baptism. And I felt that fire again. Like I felt a fire inside of me, and I heard the same voice telling me to stand up. But the people, that were ministering to the church, they were like, don't worry, like we're not going to baptize you today. We just want to pray over you. And so when I felt that fire and I heard that voice, like I just stood up, I got prayed for. And you would think that after experiencing such an incredible and such an intense moment that I would immediately give my life to Christ. Well, that's not the case. That was not the case for me. I was right back where I was, smoking and drinking and doing all these things. Until one day, my aunt gives me a call. She was like, hey, David, we're going to have this event. It's going to be for a whole entire week at church. They're going to have food and and prizes. Do you want to come? I was like, you had me at food. So sign me up. Like, I'm going to be there. Each day, I didn't go every day of the week, but each day that I would go, throughout that day, it would just be a terrible day. I would just have a unique problem and just a unique situation. And every night that I would go to church, the pastor would preach about the situation I had just dealt with that day. So I knew, I was like, oh, this is God right now. Like he's speaking to me right now. And at the end of the week, they made a call for baptisms, and they're like, hey, like stand up if you want to get baptized tomorrow. But I this time I didn't feel that fire, and I did not hear a voice. But I knew, like, okay, now this is a choice. Like I can, either finally lay this all down, give my life entirely to Jesus, or I can continue living this life of pain. And I stood up, I got baptized the next day, and I remember sitting down in the front row waiting for my turn, and the pastor sat down next to me. He was like, David, I just want you to know that just because you're giving your life to Christ does not mean that the problems that you face will fade away, that you won't deal with anything anymore. Like, you will face trials. There will be trials that come, but this time you're not the one that's going to be fighting these, going through this test. Like, it's the Lord. Like, the Lord is the one that will handle all of that, so you just have to have faith. And man, I got into that water, came out, I felt the Spirit. I wanted to yell so loud. And in my mind, I was like, Lord, how could I ever fail you, Lord? How could I sin against you? And oh man, it's been a lot of learning, of growing, of trials, of faith being tested, and just the Lord just like, nope, that's not what I want. That's not what I want from you, and just like steering me back toward this path. And now, man, it was maybe like 2 years after being baptized. I was in, actually, because this will tie into FCA. After I got baptized, I started reading the Word a whole lot, just studying the Word, really diving deep. I bought a study Bible, New King James, just sentence after sentence, just deep studies. And after service, they would always like set these long tables. They would serve food, and I would sit with my family, but they're long tables, so other people would sit next to us, and I would share with my family what I had learned throughout the week studying the Word. There would always be people coming up to me after. They'll be like, David, you really need to consider, become like being a pastor. And I would be like, no, like, don't tell me that. Like, if the Lord wants me to do that, he's going to appear to me in a dream. I'm going to hear his voice. I'm going to know without a doubt that he's calling me to this, because I knew that there's a weight to delivering the Word. So I would always just like shrug people off that would tell me that. Now, I was in ACC studying to be an engineer. This was a year ago. And I met this guy that has Bible studies at ACC, and we were talking about something completely random, and he brought up Philippians chapter 3 verses 7 and 8, and it's just basically saying, like, I count all things rubbish, like I count it all as a loss. And when he read that verse to me, I heard the Spirit ask me, like, if I were to call you into this, are you willing to give up everything that you're doing right now? And man, I cried for like 3 days. I didn't want to pray. I didn't want to open up my word because I felt so ashamed. Because here I am, almost 2 years of following the Lord, and I finally realized that I was holding things in and not really giving it all to Jesus. So on the third night, man, I had watched this sermon from Piper, and it's titled like how to know that you're called to be a pastor or how do you know that you're called to pastoralship? Something like that. There are questions that you need to, meditate on. So I was third night, I was praying to the Lord, and I was like, Lord, like, if you call me to this, I am willing. Like I will give everything up for this calling. Call me, Lord. I'm here and I'm ready. And as soon as I said that, the Spirit reminded me of that teaching from Piper, his second question, I think it was, and it was like, you need to know that you can lead people onto death or onto life with what you teach. And that weight just like crushed me. And I was like, immediately, I was like, Lord, don't call me onto this. Like, I'm not worthy of this calling. So, but I knew, like, after that night, I knew, like, this is what the Lord wants me to do. So I prayed to the Lord, and I was waiting just to see, like, what he wants me to do. Where is it? That, like, where do you want me to go? And part of me was still wanting to get my own way into engineering, and God was just like making it really difficult for me. And then I was talking to my youth pastor, and I shared with my youth pastor and with the other pastors just like my desire for to share the word, and my love for the lost, and for the church as well, and share with that. And one day my youth pastor was like, hey, there's a ministry opportunity with FCA. Obviously I was lost in high school, didn't grow up in church. I'd never heard of FCA, told me about it a little bit, and then set up a meeting. I set up a meeting with Andrew, and I knew, I was like this is what I've been waiting for, to be able to serve, and man, like, I've done a whole lot of unlearning and a whole lot of learning in FCA, and man, like, the goal for me is still the same, for the world, like, for all to know who Christ is, to have a real relationship with the Lord, to not just be hearers of the word, but actual doers, people that are willing to, to actually, if it costs them their lives, like, to be bold and stand firm, knowing that at the end there is a gift that's so great, and nothing in this world can ever compare to just his glory, just all the, so that's a little bit about me, and FCA, me with the FCA, and just my heart. So
ain't that something? Quickly tell us, David, I want you to go back into that scene. It's me, it's Michael, it's Craig Jones. We're sitting in a classroom in Cedar Ridge High School.
Oh, man.
I want you to go back into that classroom. That was 2 months ago. Yeah. Tell us what you were feeling and why.
Man.
I'll set it up a little bit. We're in the school. We've got a teacher that wants to get an FCA started at the school. So we go there, we meet the teacher, gives us the tour. We come back into the classroom, we're talking. We're talking about what could happen. We're kind of praying about what that might look like, all that things. We're going around sharing. We get to David. David, bring us right there. What were you feeling and why?
Nah, man, Andrew, when I parked, when I was at the parking lot, like, when I walked inside the building to sign up, I wanted to just cry because I was lost there. Like, I wanted to that was the darkest that I was just, man, I was depressed. Like, I didn't want to be here anymore. And for me to now be transformed and to know what life is, and to know what it's like to live without knowing what life is, to be lost and to be in that and just, man, in that room, seeing that there's teachers that are getting together, praying for students, that are wanting to see transformations of, man, hearing that there's kids that are starting their own Bible studies, like inside the school, like that's how bad they want it. I was like, man, like it was so, man, like excitement, just a lot of just emotions, just like, yes, let's do this right now. Let's do this. And man, I'm that's one of the reasons why I'm just pumped for the school year to just start already, because I want to go and train these students to go out and be the light and to look for the ones that are in similar situations that I once was in. Like, I want that as fast as we can, like as fast as the Lord will allow it to be done. But man, like just thinking about it is just a blessing. How good is God? God is so good. Like you see, Drew, I think about FCA and it's like I get to reach these kids, Drew. Like, man, I didn't think about it that much when FCA was brought to me, but now just like I've been reflecting on like, oh, like David, man, just like the Lord allows us to go through things and we might not understand why. Many times the Lord will not make it known why we go through these trials. But man, the times where he makes it clear is just like, wow, Lord, like you planned this whole thing out, and I know what it's like to be lost in these schools, and now I get to be the light for these kids that, man, it's just amazing. I don't even know. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So let me put you on the spot because I think we can all guess that you're pretty pumped up for this.
Yeah.
Right? I think we pretty much know where your heart is, all of this, and we got a clear idea of your background being pretty rough. So knowing what you know about, your life, your age group, what is let's say the one main thing that stops people your age from trusting in Christ?
Yeah. Michael mentioned this a little bit, just like thinking that they will be judged, I think that's the biggest thing. I mean,
that they'll be judged?
Yeah, that they won't be accepted because they do these things. Whatever it is that they do, whatever it is that they think of themselves, they'll think that they will be judged by us believers. I think that's the biggest thing.
So what is it about that stops a young person from, I know it's a hard thing to give up habits, right? You've both talked about things that, when we get into self-soothing and stuff like that, we get into habits, and habits are very hard to break because they just become our normal, our way of dealing with the world, the crutch that kind of makes everything okay for that 5 minutes, that 10 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I get that, and I'm just wondering about this idea of judgment. That being judged means that I'm going to reject Christ. I'm going to reject Christianity. What is it about that specifically that you think makes it hard for them, this idea of judgment?
Yeah. Well, you see, I think the best way for me to explain this is by talking about something else. So we're planning I know we'll talk about this later, but we're planning a student leadership retreat, and we're thinking about like taking students to actually take action and have conversations with people they've never met before. And I've done that plenty of times myself, but this 2 days ago, I was in Austin with someone, and I approached Jehovah's Witnesses. They had a stand, and I was talking with them and having a genuine conversation. But once I started asking specific questions about Christ they start getting they started getting aggressive. And the thing is that there's a lack of relationship, so for the student leadership retreat, like, yeah, it's good to be bold and to approach people outside of the church, but are you just wanting to prove your point, or are you actually wanting to have a relationship with a person? And I think, for the Jehovah's Witnesses, like, they ended up, man, I was trying to be as, gentle as, just hearing them out, asking them questions, just trying to be calm and all these things. But what I got from them is that one of the reasons that they shut me off and they started getting aggressive was because they've had previous interactions where the believer was not as nice, and a lot of people, not a lot of people, I haven't talked to a lot of people. I've maybe just talked about, my family and one other person that I met for the first time a few weeks ago. Like, those are the only people that I know that have church hurt, so it's like there's all these different things, right? Like, I think people that have not experienced the love of Christ, right, will look at Christians that come up with them as just like, oh, you're wrong, I'm right. Although,
Well, here's the thing. Here's why I asked that question. Because, your background wasn't brought up in the church, nor was Michael's, nor was mine. I don't know about Slack, but the reality is, in America, only about 6% of the American adult population profess to be atheist. 8% don't believe, whatever. And 6% are agnostic. So the rest are either believers or, as you said there, they tend to believe in a spiritualness, right? Spiritual but not religious. And the real reason is for that is around about 65% of American adults do not go to church because of church hurt, because of hypocritical Christians, because Christians say one thing but do another, right? So I really appreciate you say that. And that idea of judgment is a pretty big one, because we can be Christian and loving. We can be Christian and gracious. We can be Christian and have mercy. But I think one of the things that often comes forward is Christian and judgmental. And that, especially young people who may have even grown up around a church household, is that when you preach one thing, love and acceptance and, justice, all of those things which are necessary, but you don't act that way.
Yeah.
So Christianity, I think for young people, the data is pretty clear. Most young people want a relationship with God. Most young people are spiritual. what most young people are not is interested in the religiosity and the kind of church culture that we have going around. So I like that you say judgment, because I think there is a big element of people not wanting to feel judged because they have been judged, judged harshly or unfairly. And as Christians, we have to be clear that we're in no position to judge anybody, right? We really aren't. And so I think as you go through with the young people, what I hope that you will keep bringing, which I hear from you, is this idea of, my experience has been this, and it has changed me, and it has changed me in great ways, and I would love you to experience this, but I'm not going to force it on you. I'm not going to say that you have to do this. I'm not going to say if you do the things I used to do, you're a bad person, because that often comes across. So I'm appreciative of both you and Michael, because you have come from the depths. Right, you've been in a bad place before you found your faith, before you way with faith, and I think that's an asset as well. And for everybody listening, I would just caution everybody: Christianity is not about judgment. That's not our job. We're not the judge. We are the ones who can invite. We're the ones who can show the light, but we're not the ones who should be the hypocrites, right? Yeah. And so I would encourage everybody to be thoughtful Christians.
I think what made that so powerful experience that I was watching David at that school was because, to your point, Drew and David, what you guys are talking about, judgment, our students feel that judgment, and what's their response to that judgment? Sometimes they want to get away from that judgment.
Of course.
Judgment. And one way they do that is to commit suicide. And that day we found out that there was a student at Cedar Ridge that had committed suicide. And why that was particularly powerful, I think, in that scenario, was that David admitted that he was one of those students walking those hallways feeling that way. And I know Michael has a history with suicidal ideation. As a paramedic, I've ran on a lot of suicidal. I mean, Drew, you've dealt with, so we see it. And I think there's a rabbit trail right there you could go down that says, hey, what's our response to that? Like,
But there's also the interesting thing, Slack, is that this age group that you're dealing with, right? And this is one of the questions I have that I'll be posting up on FCAapologetics.com. That's the new website. There is this tension of young people where they are between childhood and adulthood, right? And there has to be this breaking away from being a child to become the adult with their own identity, their own individuality. And the problem with that, if we don't create households that are supportive, that are listening, that are helping young people make that transition, which means that a lot of young people will have doubts about life and God and meaning and all of these kind of things. And so you're going to get a lot of people in high schools are, in no other terms, they're trying to kill the former self to become the new them, right? And this is why suicidal ideation is very prevalent amongst young people. It's because the brain is trying to come up with an answer for, how do I solve this problem? How do I break away from this thing that is maybe holding me back? And how do I become the new? But if I don't know what the new is like, if I don't know that there is a Jesus there is a hope for me in the future, then the options are stay as I am or end it. Because there are no other options unless you realize that the ending it is not the best option, but you have to break away from the child you to become the adult you. And it's a very complex situation that a lot of young people are going through. And if you have a very difficult family life, dynamic is not one that's healthy when you can talk about things. It's going to be harder to break away, right? Because you're not going to be supported in the fact that you feel as if you can go forward and be an individual. So what I love about your story, David, and you, Michael, is that, you once you look over the precipice, right, you know that most people know there are two options, but you know there are three options. And one of the options is the best option. And one of the options is the worst option, right? But most people don't want to stay as they are. They just don't want to stay there, but they don't know what the alternative is. And so what I love about the FCA and what I love about what you do, Slack, and creating the environment for these young people to go into the schools is that, hey, there's another answer to this. And it's a way better answer. It's not going to solve all your problems. It's not going to make everything easier. It's not going to make you, rich and successful and popular overnight. But it's going to give you hope, and it's going to give you direction. And I think that's the message that young people need to hear, is that it's not about putting rules and restrictions on you, but it's about creating a boundary where you can thrive and succeed.
And I think they need guides to show them sometimes too. Yeah. So I think that couples all together with like, okay, show me the way, or at least point me in the right direction. And that's what I'm looking at right here. Michael and David and Drew, right, and myself, guides, pointing them away. Hey, I'm not the, but I can point you in the right direction. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not
come along with me.
I'm not the source, but I can point you to this. I'm a resource that can point you to the source.
Yeah, and I think that's something that you guys are going to do well, and next year when it comes is going to be another great year for FCA in Williamson County, and I'm here for it. I'm here to see it.
Good. We've got some things coming. You want me to?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's a great lead-in right there to what we got. Who are they looking at? They're looking at themselves.
Tell us what's going on, Slack.
Let's go, man. We got some stuff coming up. Student leadership retreat.
And just for anybody who may be listening or watching or knows somebody who isn't a Christian, still bring them along to an FCA event, right? You don't have to be a believer to come along. Right? Just come along. Even if it's you come along for fellowship, if you come along to hang out with people that are going to love you for no reason that you're just special because you're the image bearer of God, just come along. We're not going to, not going to hold you down and make you say the sinner's prayer or anything nonsense like that.
Jesus is king right now.
Right? We're just going to love on you. We're just going to just be friends. And then if you find your way to Christ, excellent. If not, we're still going to love on you.
Amen.
So give us the roundup, Slack.
Yeah, that's good. So we've got some. This is some exciting stuff. This is movement stuff that's going on. I can't control. I'm not controlling it. It's just a movement that feels like God is. I know God is moving, and so we're just going where He's going. So, as most of you guys know, Revival Week happened last fall. So we thought that was fun. Let's do that again. So. So Revival Week is going to be, we're targeting September 14th week. Now we'll reel back from there. We have an interest form that we're sending out across the city to anybody that wants to know more about this. So all you got to do is subscribe to our email chain and you'll get this link. You'll see it. We'll post it on our, website, social media even, but, because we want to get you guys informed, everybody who wants to be a part of this. We want to see more campuses with more student leaders leading people to life and to killing what is the dead parts of you, shed that off and find life. Like you don't need to believe in the false identity anymore. Believe in the true identity that God has given you. And so we want to see more students across all of our campuses in Greater Austin do this. I really believe that, in a year or two, we're going to see this happen across the nation. It'll just be a Revival Week in every single city, every state across our nation. And so leveraging the FCA relationships and the good favor within the schools to have these club events during the week will be Revival Week. And so we're going to gather on August. We're going to gather on August 22nd for the Student Leadership Retreat, where we're going to equip you. Oh, hang on. I need to move around a little bit. We're getting close to ending this thing, I guess. August 22nd is our student leadership retreat. We've done this now for the 5th or 6th time, and it's all about equipping student leaders to go back out into your school and be a light, be a good news to somebody, to your campus. And so August 22nd, we're inviting everybody, student leaders, and then separately, but same location, we're inviting pastors, community members, parents, anybody to come together to pray and receive details about this Revival Week event, because we need help. We need help from churches to partner with the school to provide Bibles, pizza, etc. And so we're gonna kick things off. Really, we're kicking things off now because I've got the form circulating out. And then August 22nd, we'll gather, and then we're going to do weekly outings until that September 14th week, training our students how to be bold, how to have conversations like David and Michael were talking about. Like, we're not trying to get you to say a sentence like here, you trade your sentence in for my sentence. Like, that's not what we're doing. Okay, we're peeling back the false layers that you believe in and showing you truth. And so how to have real, genuine, authentic conversations, leading people towards that. It's a person, his name is Jesus. Have you met him? And so like, that's what I'm excited about for the next 3 months until God calls me home. I mean, that's what we're going to be about here in Williamson County. So
nice.
Questions.
Anything else, Slack? Anything else coming up in July?
Well, if you've got a 3rd to 6th grader, we have this awesome basketball camp going on in Cedar Park. I sent an email out, but for anybody to listen, 3rd to 6th graders, they're capping it around 40 to 50 students. They've got college athletes, basketball players coming in to coach, and it's a local father-son helping put this on, and we're partnering with them because, man, what they're doing is awesome. And so that's coming up July 13th week. So there's still some time if you want to register for that. We're scholarshiping some students that want to participate. So again, if you want more info, subscribe to our email, DM us on Instagram or Facebook. I mean, that's really the best way to get a hold of us.
We'll get the website sorted out one day.
Yeah, we'll get the website sorted out.
All right, so we're coming. I think we've run nice and long today because we've got 2 chatterboxes with us.
Man.
So any final thoughts, any final words from you two guys before we wrap it up?
Don't give them too long.
All right. Okay. Well, you took your chance and you said nothing. So there you go.
No. Right. Grateful to be on this podcast, and grateful to just to know what I know that there's a lot coming from this from what you're putting together, Drew, and helping us with this, and I sense that from the Lord that this is going to be a way that we're going to be able to reach a lot of people that maybe wouldn't have gotten reached otherwise. Touch a parent's life, touch a coach's life, touch a student's life in some way to draw them into a right relationship with Christ. So, man, thankful for you, thankful for what you continue to do with the Fellowship of Christian Athletes and all the time spent. So, man, just blessings to you, to your family, to that next PhD you're going to get, whatever that looks like. So, no, grateful to be on here.
Okay, good man, good man. David, anything before we kick you out?
Yeah, no. I mean, same thing. Just it's been a blast. It's been nice. So, thank you so much.
Well, we'll as the social media guy, we'll be hoping for you to get us out there so we can get rich on all of this social media money that's going around, if there is such a thing. And just to remind everybody, just been working on FCA apologetics. If you have a question about faith, identity, doubt, life, anything, go to the website. There's a way for you to ask a question, and hopefully we can get an answer for you up on the website as soon as I can record them. All right. It's great seeing you guys.
Yeah.
Let's get out of here and let everybody get on with their day.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
See you guys.